let's talk about the you've written about the TPP, which is a trade agreement that the United States is engineering right now with, I believe it's about 12 other countries in the Pacific Rim, and we know only a little about this agreement because it's being done in secrecy. Some chapters of this agreement were leaked about 6 to 8 months ago, I believe it was. And what it tell us what provide for us the analogy, what you know in terms of what it does for IP, for patents, in terms of pharmaceuticals, but give us a more universal view of what these trade agreements do. There was a report today in the Huffington Post about the attempts for the Obama administration to create a similar agreement with the EU. What
Right.
does this effectively do?
Okay.
Because when we talk about, and I should just say this, when we talk about, and the analogy holds whether it's a developing country or a developed country, we are talking about the will of the people as manifested through their government to create standards which provide for a better functioning society, whether that is allowing for more medicines for more people to address the specific needs of that population, whether it's environmental concerns, whether it's worker safety concerns, and all of these manifestations of the will of the people will be trumped by corporations' will to profit through these trade agreements.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, the much more bird's eye view of these agreements is they are efforts to strengthen transnational corporate power. Full stop. Uh, if you needed one sentence, that's what they're about. They talk about them being about jobs. They talk about it being, leveling the field for international trade. But when you look at the details, what they're really trying to do consistently is to make it easier for corporations to get cheap labor and to sell their products in other countries and to make high profits. Now, with respect to IP, the U.S. has what we call comparative advantage in IP-protected industries, in film and movies and in music and in pharmaceuticals and in software, not so much in publishing. And so all these monopoly systems, patents, copyright, trademark, are really systems that are designed to make sure that existing transnational corporate power gets more profit in its pocket. And trade agreements basically grease that process.
Talk about Eli Lilly in the context of NAFTA, because I think this is illustrative of what kind of power it gives these corporations relative
Yeah,
to sovereign nations. And I mean, it really is in some way, it really comes down to, it seems to me, and maybe I'm overstating this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it is essentially putting corporate will to profit, it transcending sovereign nations' ability to structure their society.
oh, absolutely. So, I mean, one thing in terms of background is, in addition to trying to get stronger substantive rules for intellectual property protections, the U.S. is also seeking enhanced enforcement powers and measures that mean that not only can private right holders, big pharma, sue a competing generic company that gets in their way, but they get the state to act on their behalf by seizing products at the border. They get criminal procedures initiated. And now in what we call investment chapters, they actually allow companies to directly sue sovereign states when sovereign states regulate, et cetera. So the case you mentioned was Eli Lilly. And Eli Lilly had a patent that was granted, which was later invalidated in an infringement suit that Eli Lilly had filed against Teva. And basically the Canadian court said, this isn't a good patent. We're invalidating it. Well, Eli Lilly said, well, we were hoping to make a lot of money from that. So we're going to use this investment chapter in NAFTA to directly sue the government of Canada for $1 million for using a well-established rule of patentability to invalidate a wrongly granted patent. And, despite what the courts of Canada say, they're going to go now to a panel of 3 private arbitrators, a kind of revolving door of, international trade lawyers, a very small number of them, who act for companies in one day and then act as arbitrators the next day. And 3 of these guys are going to be sitting in, essentially private arbitrations and deciding whether the Canadian taxpayers are going to have to give $100 million to Eli Lilly so that it makes this level of profit it wanted to. And basically, this kind of power freezes government's ability to regulate in the public interest. These kind of cases have been brought in environmental cases and consumer protection cases and mining cases and water cases, every kind of case you can think of that is actually protecting the public interest and protecting people from excesses of corporate power.
And this is what we're going to see in the TPP. If I am a corporation that that my executive sat in a conference room and said, if we can get into country X, we can anticipate $100 million worth of profits over the course of the first 10 years. And if country X says, no, actually, we have environmental standards. We have decided that your product, we have determined your product is not healthy for our people, or it will poison our air, or that it doesn't do what you say it does, or your patent is invalid. This corporation can then go to what you're talking about, this private arbitration panel, set up of their own corporate lawyers, more or less, and get that $100 million.
Yeah, it's shocking. In the U.S. we tend to think, well, that only happens in banana republics. That's when the court systems aren't fair. This is a suit against Canada, which no one thinks is a banana republic. And by the way, the same kinds of cases can actually be brought against the United States by foreign corporations. So, for example, just last 2 weeks ago, the Supreme Court in the United States issued a ruling that said that you can import a textbook from, produced by a publisher that's been sold in another country back into the United States, so that our college students can get cheaper textbooks. That frustrates the profit expectations of that publisher. Under investment clauses, that investor, if it were a foreign investor, could actually bring the United States government to private arbitration as well. So we often talk about the U.S. backing up and supporting corporate power, but sometimes, and many times, it does so directly against the interests of U.S. taxpayers and U.S. consumers. And so, the depth of capitulation to corporate power is simply stunning, and it doesn't just hurt people elsewhere; it hurts us directly here.
And one of the really dangerous, aspects of this TPP is that it would be it would have a docking provision. In other words, the agreement would exist. Other countries could join, but they would have to. There would be no renegotiation, and essentially, right. Today there was a poll came out about how many people in this country believe in a one world government. What we're really looking at is a sort of a one world corporate, almost a parallel legal system in some respects.
Yeah. I mean, it's ironic. I mean, lots of times people in the U.S. think they're against the UN system, which actually exerts virtually no true international power, and yet, our government is complicit with the creation of what you're essentially describing, which is, international corporate power untrammeled. And so, the vulnerability we have as civil society and regular folks is constantly under threat because we allow our government, or our government is bought and paid for, to continue to instantiate corporate power. And I'm an AIDS activist. I'm mainly interested in access to medicines, but I've always seen the issue in the context of globalization, neoliberal policies, and the continued rise and expansion of corporate power. They are corporate powers are the puppet masters for U.S. government policy, both domestically and internationally.
Well,
And we have to gain some control back, or living standards are going to continue to plummet, and tax revenues from corporations will continue to go down, and our health system will get worse and worse.
Professor Brook Baker from the Health Global Access Project at the Northeastern University Law School, thank you so much for joining us today. And people have got to keep an eye out for this TPP. Do you have any sense of when this may emerge from the shadows? I mean, because it is.
Well, it's in a it gets mentioned every now and then. As you said before, it is called by the Obama administration the new global standard as a 21st century agreement. Well, boy, if that's true, we're in real trouble.
Yeah.
And so people need to find out more about it. They need to start putting some pressure on their members of Congress to say, we want to have hearings about it. We want to know what it says. We don't want to negotiate in secret. We don't want what's called trade promotion authority, which means you have to vote only up and down. We want to actually have you take a serious look at what's in there. And
That's
what's
otherwise known as
interest.
fast track, right? I mean, that's
otherwise known as fast track. I mean, the Republicans are pretty much lining up that they'll stamp anything that's in favor of corporations, and the Democrats aren't much better. But, people in the United States, and especially to the extent we take into account the interests of our brothers and sisters overseas, we've got to oppose these kind of agreements that are going to become the template for the next century.
Where can people find more information at this time?
Well, Public Citizens has a lot of information on the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement in particular, so I would recommend that people go there.
All right.
But also the AFL-CIO is doing work on the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. There's more, kind of focused attention on these issues by some people who work on copyright, and certainly people who work on medicines as well.
Professor, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and hope to speak to you again.
Okay.
I mean, maybe, hopefully the circumstance will be, boy, we dodged a big bullet there.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.